Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with ReZero Season 4 Episode 12 reaction. So ReZero is back again with the second part of Season 4. Now the previous episode, which was episode number 11, was one of the best episodes of ReZero. Like I already talked about it in that episode in itself, but I really loved how Subaru, like, they didn't really make Subaru's memory return, but they made the new Subaru like gain more character development, even though the previous version of Subaru already had a character development, good enough character development. They did it once more, and this Subaru is even a better version of, like I don't know, like he has a potential to become a better version of his previous already well built character. So like I really love that because I genuinely thought they're going to bring his memory back, but the way they kind of took this is more interesting. So like, and obviously the episode in itself was really good with the whole thing with Emilia and everything, and like that whole outburst of Subaru, and it was really good. So yeah, let's see what happens in this core and what like how this goes, and yeah, let's get started. So episode number 12. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to the original video and watch it alongside my reaction. Yeah, let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, here we go. Is he going to say that, oh, I have lost my memories? Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, because she. Patrasha's like, what? Bruh. Well, yeah. Damn. Like, instead of, like, obviously, from the very beginning, after losing his memory, he was at constant, like, oh, should I trust these people? Who are these people? But now he can actually feel at ease. Hmm. There we go. Hmm. All right. Here we go. Julius's reaction. Um, yeah, you said the same thing before as well. Yep. Oh yeah, whole PTSD. Yeah. Well. Hmm. Wait, she's sitting so far. The whole perspective. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Well, I can kind of understand what might have gone on. The book. Oh yeah. Yeah, he still doesn't remember the whole Emilia Tan. Ah, we need to have a conversation. True. Yeah. Yeah. She's like, yeah. That was the. That's the thing that's triggering her the most is the fact that the only person who remembers name has forgotten her. Mm. Mm. Ah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Bruh. Reliable for odd jobs. Hmm. Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure the memory will be back. Hopefully. Hmm. All right, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew this was coming. Oh wait, what? Okay, thank God. I was like, is this happening again? Yep. Right. Well, I. Mm. Uh. Finish me off. Mm. Yeah. Ooh. Well, about that. Oh, here we go. The reason. Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh God, here we go. Ah, boy. Oh no, now what? Ah, freaking hell. Stickles. Well, she's been brought up, not brought up, but she grew up in the wild. Hmm. Oh yeah, this is where they make him into a frog. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it'd be like part of her. Part of her got. Okay, so did he grab her? Oh, Subaru's. Is your whip okay? Okay. I think you guys shouldn't have a conversation here. Can you? This is giving me anxiety. Sure. Wait. Okay. Well. Okay. So I guess she told Amelia about. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. So he told Amelia about the situation. Oh wait. Or was that a complete coincidence? Yeah. Okay. So he told her. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of people has tried to kill Subaru, so right. All right. Yeah. What comes next? Right. Oh, still something. Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it'll matter resolve itself or show itself. Yeah. Like obviously we can kind of guess what the problem actually is. It is gluttony, but there's still a lot of questions we don't know answers. Oh, what comes next? Yeah. Yeah, we have to defeat, all of us have to defeat him. Like Emilia did it, but we all have to do it. Oh, interesting. Okay, that should be pretty interesting to see, his life. But here's the thing. Did they mention that Ray died, or is it that nobody knew what happened to him and he's just here? If he hasn't died and he's just here somehow stuck, then we won't find his book, I guess. Wait, was that ending a bit different? I have to see the previous ending. Okay, okay. Anyways, all right, and there you go. That was episode number 12 of ReZero. Great start to the second core of season 4. And here we get to see Subaru little by little solving all the problems that he would potentially have. First Ram, and then the whole thing with Meili. His relationship with Julius also, I doubt it has completely fixed itself, but it is kind of like, it's okay for now. And what else? all the other like problems are for now resolved. Like, it's okay. We can like think about all of that stuff later, because I think like we still need to have like a proper conversation with Julius. Like the whole thing with Ram is over now. I think like the whole thing with the conversation that Subaru had with Ram, that kind of resolved itself. The whole thing with Melee is also resolved. Julius, I still think we need to have a talk with him properly, whatever it is. The Echidna thing as well, I think also we have to like properly, you know, like I don't know, like kind of like they are kind of like okay with us for now, but I still think we need to have that conversation for with these two at least. Um, Emilia and Beatrice already like they're already on our side from the very beginning. They are always were, so that's not a problem. So yeah, like, and that takes care of all the. Oh, and Shaula, I have no idea what's going on with Shaula's still an enigma. There's a lot of questions we have about her, and a lot of things we don't know, like a lot of like like I don't know, like things. So I guess Shaula is like a um something we still have to figure out. So yeah, anyways, for now the situation is okay, and that's why Subaru's like, let's like like we'll talk about our amnesia later. Let's talk about how we get past Raid Astrea, and that is the goal for now. Okay, so let's talk about today's episode. So first and foremost, I want to talk about a few things. Firstly, we get to see Meily's backstory here, like properly. We already got to see it a little bit before, but here we get to see it a little bit more expanded. And as you can see, Meili was a was a kid who was we knew it from the previous tour that she was abandoned in the forest because of her ability to like control like mobbies and all that stuff. um that's why she was abandoned. So she grew up in the forest, like, and we know like we saw that like she became this like leader of the pack, and she became like so they were her family, if you think about it like that. Like these like mobbies, these like like creatures were her family, and then Elsa came and took her from them, like, and killed them, I guess. So obviously, Meili like had like a hatred for her, because there's it's like literally killing her. Oh my god. Okay, Meili, just a minute, guys. I'm getting distracted by the noise outside. Oh, good lord. Okay, so yeah, Meili, like that's why she detested Elsa, from that point onwards, as she said. But as time went on, you could see like Meili was someone who obviously who grew up with like these beasts. So she was like that. But so to become like a human, she had to kind of like copy someone. Like, I think it's wrong to say copy, because everyone does that. As a kid, when you literally have like like nothing, you look at your outside surrounding world, your surrounding people, and whatever company you have, what type of people they have, you see them, you like kind of try to emulate them. You know, Obviously, the people closest to you are your parents, so you kind of like look at them, the way, the type of people they are, the type of people they expose you to, they make up they construct you as a person from a little age. And then you go outside, you go to school, you meet with other kids, and then little by little it like shapes you to become like a proper person, gives you a proper personality. And by the time you are like a like a not a teenager, like even before that, like a I don't know, like 6 or 7 year old kid, you start forming like a kind of a personality, and the more you meet with people, the more you grow, it shapes you into like a proper person. uh, and how does this happen? Obviously by looking at other people, by meeting other people, by like emulating them and seeing them. Yeah. So Meili had no one like that up until now, except the Mabis. That's why she kind of was like them. She ran on four legs. She acted like a beast. And now she came in contact with a human, which was Elsa, the only person who took care of her. So she started like emulating her, even though she hated her. So that's what she says. She says like, like I started dressing up like her. I started like kind of, like talking like her. Now, it's not only that. There's also another reason why she did this, I'm assuming, which, as we see, like, because Meili literally had no one, she had to kind of become, like, she herself was a blank slate, and she had nobody in her side except the one person that she hated. So she took her personality and everything, like, they kind of looked at her, kind of emulated her, and made her into a part of herself, you could say. Because if you think about it, like, at the end of the day, the only person who kind of treated her with kindness was Elsa, even though Elsa was the person who did, like, kill those Mabis and took away her first family from her. And I'm assuming that's why she hated her, because like, she literally did that. But then, that hatred, like, she kept hating her, kept hating her, kept hating her, but at the same time, Elsa kept treating her like a normal person. So it was like a weird type of feeling. As we can see here, when Subaru asks her, like, were you trying to take revenge? She's like, I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to do. So it's a weird type of a situation. She herself is also very conflicted about her feelings for Elsa. Like, because up until now she probably thought that, I don't care about this lady. I don't, like, I don't really care. Like, she's someone that I hate. But then after she lost her, she probably realized, like, a huge part of her became empty, and she realized, like, her importance in her life. And but her previous thoughts about Elsa, about hating her, about despising her, that conflicted with that, so she wasn't sure herself, like, what I feel about her. Do I want to take revenge? Do I want to do, like, like, I don't know, like, do something about this, like, what's going on? She didn't know. So that's why she is like, like, conflicted about her emotions about Elsa. And that's why when Subaru asked her, she was like, I have no idea what I was trying to do, but I wanted to do something about this. So yeah, long story short, obviously, like, like, even though Meili herself doesn't understand it, she loved Elsa. you know she loved her as a guardian, a person, like, who took care of her, and as a, like, as someone, like, like, who, like, a mother type of a figure for her. you know the thing is that she just doesn't realize that herself, and she thought that, oh, I hate this person. But yeah, now the thing with Elsa is, obviously, I don't think Elsa had any type of intention for, like, like, being liked by Meili. She just did what was, like, she had to do. And yeah, and that's it. And they kind of, like, had a bond with each other. Now, obviously, I'm saying this, but I would also say that eventually, by spending more time with Meili and everything, by the end of it, Elsa also grew attached to Meili. Because I don't exactly remember it clearly, because, it's been quite a few seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong, there was a scene when Garfield was fighting Elsa where, or was it some other battle, where I think, like, yeah, it was that battle, right? Where, like, Elsa thought that Meili was in danger, and she immediately, like, kind of, yeah, like, I don't remember exactly remember that scene, but she immediately went and tried to, like, protect her or something like that. And then, like, yeah. So that shows that, obviously, by that time, both Meili and Elsa grew attached to each other. Even though Elsa didn't really explicitly show it, there was that thing within her. You know, so yeah, like, at the beginning, Elsa probably was like, "Oh, this is just a mission, this and that. I'm going to take her." But, like, it's both are human beings. Like, they both of them had each other only, and they spent together time for so long. They, like, like, grew up in each other's company. Obviously, they grew attached to each other. So yeah, like, it's the same for Elsa as well, right? So anyways, either way, but the thing with Meili here is that the Meili, the only person she had was Elsa. Like Elsa also had this, was the same situation, but the thing with Meili is that Meili was like hollow from the inside. Like, so she took like Elsa's, like she kind of emulated her like way of acting, way of like talking and everything. So like having someone who has such a huge influence on you, like, be taken away from you, is like missing a part of you. That's that kind of thing. So that's why like this affected Meili so much, you could say. Because can you think about it, like just imagine, like like someone who is this much of a, like a part of you, like influence on you, like you know they suddenly die. But then like since you emulate her so much, like whenever you talk, whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, you get constantly reminded of that person. And that's what I'm saying, like Elsa became a part of Meili, a huge part of Meili, like literally, like the way she speaks and everything is like Elsa. So like when people lose someone, like obviously they're sad and they're like, but as time goes on, like it kind of like little by little gets dampened, and like time heals all wounds, as they say. Like after like 1 year, 2 year, like obviously you're going to be emotional when you think about that person, but it's not exactly the same intensity as it would have been literally immediately after losing that person. you know but for Meili, Elsa was is literally part of her. Like so whenever she's being constantly reminded of Elsa, like whenever she is like speaking and everything, like it's like a part of her died, that kind of thing. So it's I don't know, I feel like it's such a huge thing for Meili. It affected her in such a way that is why she was just and the fact that she had nobody else other than Elsa to kind of look up to and trust, you could say. you know so, but like I said, now that everyone has accepted Meili, and like she has so many people now, you know this will help her. Because even if a huge part of her has like been lost, which is the part of Elsa, like she now has other people that will be able to try to kind of fix that, like put themselves in that part and be a part of her. Because like every person you meet, and every they become a part of you, even if it's by a small amount. uh yeah, they become someone that and obviously there will be people who are a bigger who capture a bigger part of you, like the people who you love the most and everything. But every single person that you meet, every single person that you look up to, you kind of take inspiration from and everything, they become a part of you. So now she has so many of them. That's why Subaru said, like we have to be people who Meili can look up to. And like so that like we have to make sure that we don't embarrass ourselves. So like we have to be very like like proper role models basically. So yeah, something like that. um there you go. And yeah, and basically that was what it was with Meili. She is someone who lost the only person that she had with her, who she genuinely cared about, and she was confused about it, and she didn't know what to do. She like it went to such a direction that she took it upon herself to take her own life if it didn't work out, the whole thing with Subaru. um so obviously it is painful, but now like she can look up to so many other people, and she know that, oh, I can trust these people. And little by little this is going to fix itself, hopefully. Right. Okay. Now that was the thing with Meili. Let's talk about a few other stuff. For example, Ram. So the first thing that Subaru did, obviously, he knew that like he has to kind of like just talk about the whole situation with Ram, because Ram is going to be one of the people who gets most affected by this news that Subaru has lost his memory. Now, the thing about Ram is obviously she's not mad or she's not furious about the fact that Subaru lost his memories, or or it's going to be difficult to like conquer the tower now, this and that. None of that. Her main problem was the fact that he forgot Rem. Now, I talked about this in the previous season as well, but it is a very valid, I guess you could say, and a very sad type of a like thing which is going on, because Ram, if you remember, when Rem's like memory and everything got eaten, obviously Ram was like, who's Rem? I don't know. And Subaru, we know that. Subaru was like shocked. She was like, what the hell? Like, you also don't remember her, and like he brought her in front of Ram and sorry Ram, and Ram said that, oh, like, yeah, I can see the resemblance. I can also feel there is a connection between us, but I have no memory. And I remember there were multiple times where Ram just went to Rem's room and just stared at her. I remember there were scenes like that as well, and obviously she took care of her and everything. And throughout all of these like time that Ram has spent with Rem after losing the memories, she herself realized that, yeah, like something is wrong. This person is definitely my sister, because as she said, they have a connection between them, you know but the problem with her is that she just doesn't remember anything. She doesn't know who this person is. And it must have been such a, like, can you imagine, like, seeing someone and realizing that, oh yeah, this person must have been very important to me and dear to me, but I just don't remember that person. How much of a weird and uncomfortable feeling that could have been for so many years. Not years, but I don't know how much time passed from that. So many months, I guess. I don't know exactly the amount of time that passed from when Rem, like, lost like everything to this point. But whatever amount of time it is, like, yeah. But the only thing that was probably being like a part that was reassuring her is like, oh, even if I don't remember this girl, even if nobody else remembered this girl, Subaru remembers her. So that must mean that she existed. You know, all these memories that Subaru have of us, like, Ram and Rem, as sisters, they must have happened. So it is true. But then that one person also forgets. And now you're questioning, were we even sisters? Because I don't remember anything. Subaru doesn't remember anything. Nobody remembers about her. So did she even exist? Like, I can see her in front of me, but having no memory for one, of one person, nobody having a memory for that person must have meant that she didn't. So it's like but at the same time, she's also like, she knows that she's her sister, and there's a connection between her. So it really made her angry, frustrated, sad that the one person that remembered her sister for all of them, because Subaru's memories for Rem was not only for her and Rem, it was for everyone. Everyone, the little amount of time that Rem spent with them, like, be it with Emilia, be it with Ram, be it with someone else, like, Subaru remembered whatever Subaru remembered of them or knew about them, those happened and those existed, and those were a proof of these bonds that they had. And it was a proof of the bond between two sisters. And now that proof is gone, she doesn't remember Rem. So, yeah, but she knows that this is her sister, and there's some connection between them. So yeah, it's like Rem actually died here because nobody remembers her, and that is why she's so frustrated, and she's acting like that. I don't know. I remember like some people being like when not this school but previous school, where Subaru was like, oh, I've forgotten my memories, and Ram was like, how dare you, and like just pushed him into the wall and just threatened him and everything. I know there were a few people who were like, oh, why is Ram acting like this? This is why. There's way deeper reasoning behind it, is to, like, because it is literally as if you're saying, like, yeah, the one person that remembered your sister has also forgotten. That's why at first she was like, are you joking? Like, is this like some sort of a play that you're playing? If it is, then it's a very bad joke. Don't do this. But then she realized that Subaru's not joking, and then she's like, what the hell, man? Like, now what? And this paired with the fact that in the previous school, when this happened for the very first time, the way Subaru was acting so nonchalantly about it also triggered Ram quite a bit. That's why she became so violent at the very first, like. Here, however, obviously Subaru knows, like, Subaru has gone through a lot from that point onwards. So he didn't act that nonchalantly, you know. And he was like, yeah, I want to talk about this and I want to clear something up. So this went way more smoother. But yeah, the first time, like, like, can you imagine being in Ram's shoes, and, like, the one person that remembered your sister suddenly starts saying that, oh yeah, I don't remember anyone, like, and then you're like, are you joking? And he's like, oh no, why would I joke about this? Like, haha, like, like, kind of in a very, with a flippant attitude, typical Subaru way of trying to, like, uh cover up his own insecurities, as like, he himself kind of does that to cover up, like, like, a lot of things. Like, he kind of acts in a very flippant way, as if, like, oh, everything is fine, everything's normal. But that kind of backfired here, obviously, because Ram is like, what the hell? Like, and that's why in the very first meeting of this new Natsuki Subaru with Ram, it went so bad. you know and that made Subaru not trust any of these people. So it acted in a very, like, like, destructive way, where Subaru's behavior triggered Ram and she acted like that. And Subaru, being someone who has lost all memories, seeing someone act like that with him and not even realizing why, because he has no memories about Rem, none of them, made him mistrust them as well. So, it was like like a double-edged, like, like, thing. Like, both of them caused harm to each other, and none of them were able to trust each other. But here, Subaru deals with this situation the very first thing he does, and talks to Rem about it, tells her that, like, I might not remember her, but I promise I will bring her back. you know and by doing that, I'll bring my memory back of Rem as well. So, yeah, there you go. Ram, I'm going to get Rem and my memories back. Yeah. I promise you that. I will see this through. If I give up, you can do whatever you want with me. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That was the whole thing with Ram resolved. So there you go. Now, obviously, I talked about the whole thing with Meili. Like, Subaru did a little dodge when Meili tried to push him. At first, when they showed that, I was like, oh no, what the hell, not this again. Well, no, that was just him, like, remembering. So yeah. And right after that, the whole backstory between, like, Elsa and Meili. I already talked about all of this. And then, like, when Meili just jumped, I was like, oh no, like, like, what the hell? Like, now what? Like, now Subaru has to, like, reset everything. Like, because here's the thing. Like, just like Subaru, I really don't want him to reset everything, because, like, like, we've already had this whole thing before. Like, like, Subaru resetting his life as if it's like some sort of load and save thing in a video game is something that he should not do. Like, if it is, like, obviously there will be times when he has to do it, unless and until things go that far, he shouldn't do this whole, like, taking your life and resetting and the return by death thing, because it just is, it's not worth it. Like, like, not only for Subaru, but at the same time, you have to remember, every single time he resets, he leaves a world, like a parallel world or whatever you call it, in a situation like this. Like, this is just it for this world. He's again, like, resetting to another world, because, we know this, we've seen this. Like, all the worlds that he has died are left with a world with no Natsuki Subaru, and every other person are who are connected to Natsuki Subaru, they are devastated. Like, we've seen this. So it's not only for Subaru and Subaru's, like, mental health and everything. It is for the people of that world as well. So resetting is something that shouldn't be done like some sort of a, like a game. Like, oh yeah, reset. Like, like, I forgot to wake up at 8 a.m. today. I woke up at 8:15. Let me reset. It shouldn't be done like that. Like, that kind of thing. Because it has consequences. Like, you might be leaving that world, but the people you leave behind, they're still there with a gaping hole in them. that is Natsuki Subaru. So yeah, so that's why when that happened, I was like, oh my god, not this again. Like he has to again reset. But obviously, this is Subaru. He already went through a lot of these things, and he probably anticipated something like this happening. So he said like he already posted people to jump in case something goes south. So Subaru, Emilia was there, and wait, who else was there? Was it only Emilia or? Yeah, only Emilia was there. Yeah, so he only told Emilia that, oh yeah, you just stay here in the shadows. If something happens and it's out of my control, like just help us out. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. And Emilia probably also would have interfered if Meili somehow pushed Subaru and he almost fell to his death. She would have interfered there as well. Um, so yeah, so he had a proper insurance ready. Like Subaru. Like he just doesn't go he just didn't go to the edge of the stairs just to be like, alright, let me try to recreate that situation, and I'll dodge Meili's push and everything will be fine. You know. Like he knew that if somehow I wasn't able to dodge it and I actually fell, Emilia would save me. Same with Meili as well. If Meili like took some drastic step, tried to attack him or tried to take her own life, Emilia would interfere. So yeah, he was ready with that, and that's why I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen now? And he put his like whip, and I was like, how the hell is he using his whip to like hold on and have a like, and he was like actually talking with Meili in that situation. I'm like, come on, like guys, please just somehow like put yourself in a proper position, because this is not a place to have a conversation. You're literally hanging on a whip and you're talking. But then I realized, like, when they showed the eyes, I was like, oh, wait a minute, Emilia's there. Like, like, so that's why Subaru was so, like, nonchalant about this, because he knew that, everything is fine. Like, I can take my time to talk to Meili, even in this situation, because Emilia's there and she'll save me if something happens. And yeah, and there you go, and that's what happened. In the end, Emilia also accepted Meili and said that, yeah, like, there you go. All right, and then we had also that section with Shaola when Subaru was like, "Oh, everyone over here will be like role models for Meili, even you, Shaola." And Shaola's like, "Oh, even me, me." And then she's like, "Okay," and then she like hugs Meili and everything. Like, and yeah, and like we still don't know much about Shala. Like we don't know do know a little bit, but there's still a lot of questions and mysteries surrounding her. But one thing it is for sure that she definitely was lonely so many years just staying here. That's why when Subaru lost his memories, Shala's like, what the hell, Master, you lost your memories again? Like so many years I've been alone and now you forget me again. So something like this, where she's like being told that, oh, you know what, you'll be a role model for this person, must have been something like that made her really happy. But we saw that, like, like, and she's like, oh, I'm like, like I'm also part of the team, like that kind of thing. Like this is like that kind of a situation where the only person, like, like that awkward moment where, not awkward moment I would say, but the awkward type of a situation where um you have a friend in a friend group, and that friend in their friend group is like has come to you, and you're like, there's only one person here, and you're like, oh, hi, hello. And then they're talking with their friends and they're talking with their friends, and you're just in an awkward corner being like, okay, this is like not like, this is not good. Like I'm just, because obviously you don't know your friends friends, and they have a whole ass group and they're talking with each other, and you're just in a weird type of situation. But then when that friend is like, oh, like, like invites you into an activity with them, which helps you open up to them, you're happy. You're like, okay, I'm being included into this. Like that type of situation. Here, that friend is Subaru. The only person he knows here is Subaru. But the thing about this is, it's even worse here because Subaru has no memories of Shala. So, and then Subaru has these other group of friends, and Shala's like, okay. And then when Subaru was like, oh, like, like Meili, like you'll also be her role model, she felt included, I think. Obviously, like, she was very happy. We saw that. And yeah, so there you go. Like, so the whole thing with Charlotte was also pretty nice. And now Subaru's like, we have to deal with Raid Astrea because obviously, if you deal with this tower, I think everything will resolve itself. Let's deal with this tower first. Let's deal with Raid Astrea first. And to do that, we have to go to the library and read his book. Now, like I said, I don't remember if they clarified this or maybe my memory is failing me, but have they actually explicitly confirmed that Raid Astrea is dead? Oh yeah, I think they did, right? Oh yeah, Shala herself did. She said that like Raid Astrea died. Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah. Or I don't know. But anyways, we'll see. If we find a book of him, obviously he's dead. So we'll find that out in the next episode. If my memory is failing me or if they haven't have kept that still like a ambiguous. We'll see that. Either way, let's wait and see how this goes. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about here, which I already talked about in the previous season, what the hell is going on with Subaru? Now, if you think about it, this whole season up until now has been like a mystery, like a detective show kind of. Like, oh, who is this person who is doing these murders and you know. I already came to a conclusion and from the trailers it's pretty damn obvious it is gluttony. Like, come on. Like, at first I was kind of questioning myself, but then like, as time went on, it became pretty obvious it is gluttony. So my question here is like, and exactly how the hell did this happen? So it happened when Subaru was reading a book, the Book of the Dead. So like, now the question is, whose book was he reading that this happened? I said in the previous season that it was Gluttony's book because if or something like that, because if you remember, this happened when Subaru was like walking, I think, and then suddenly Subaru was like, "Oh, I know, I have to do something," and he goes up the stairs or goes down the stairs, whatever it is, into the library. That's it. The whole scene cuts off from there, and then we see Subaru has lost his memories, and then like everything happens as we see. So from the time where he went to the wherever he went and lost his memories is what happened. So then after in the upcoming few episodes, it was confirmed that Subaru went to the library because Meili went there. Meili saw all that thing happen. The first time Meili talked to Subaru in the library, Subaru was pretty normal, but then he started acting weirdly, if you remember, suddenly having this switch in personalities and acting in a weird way. I also said that the way he acted also reminded me of Gluttony. No, so that's how I kind of came to that conclusion over there. But like the thing that I'm trying to think over here is like, what book was he reading? I think he was reading Gluttony's book or something like that because he wanted to know or have some clue as to what happened with Gluttony to find a way to defeat him so that he could save Rem. I think because otherwise, why else would he be reading a book related to gluttony? And since since you experience the thing, like when you read the book, you experience the thing yourself, like a VR experience. You kind of get transported there. We've seen this happen before, and we've seen this act like kind of like affecting the person who's reliving that. We've seen that. So whatever he read in this book or experienced in this book, since it was related to gluttony, it affected him, and somehow it affected like his memories itself, like it got eaten. Or maybe he was reading a book about someone whose memories got taken by gluttony. Either of it. He was either reading gluttony's book or he was reading someone's book who got everything taken away by gluttony, and that's why since he experienced it, he also like lost everything. Yeah, but here's the thing. This is one thing that I don't understand, and I think they'll explain it eventually. Why the hell is Gluttony's personality inside of him? Like, that is the part I'm still not able to figure out. Is it because of the book? It must be, right? Because since he's reliving the book, something must have happened there which made like like that kind of thing. But anyways, it's pretty damn obvious that Gluttony is inside of him, and yeah, like like that kind of thing. Also, here's another thing. I don't think if I mentioned this in the previous season while in the discussion sections, but I think I asked a question where I was like, oh, why does like Satella get triggered suddenly? A lot of these like runs, we see Satella suddenly pops out, and like the whole curse thing activates and everything. I was like, what happened? Because like that only happens when someone gets to know about Return by Death, right? And then later I clocked it. It is because since Gluttony is inside of Subaru, Gluttony gets to know about Return by Death. And that's why Satella gets triggered. I was thinking, I was like, why? What is happening? Why is Satella getting, like, he never shared anything about Return by Death with anyone. Like, why the hell is Satella suddenly coming out? It's because of that. Because Gluttony inside of him, I think so at least, gets to know about Return by Death because now he's inside of Subaru, and that's why the whole thing gets triggered. However, there's still one thing that I'm not able to understand. Like I said, the thing about like how the hell the personalities has gone into Subaru, that I don't understand clearly. Like, and another thing is like, how the hell did Rem get possessed? Oh, okay. Like I don't know if it's exactly that what's going on, but I'm assuming it's because Rem is also a victim of gluttony. Probably that. So is it that all the victims of gluttony can be possessed like this by gluttony? I think so, maybe. Yeah, I'm assuming. I guess that's why Rem was possessed, because in the previous season it was pretty obvious, like that Rem was possessed for the time being by gluttony. When Subaru's head gets cleaved off completely, when he was like looking outside the tower. If you remember that scene, when someone comes behind Subaru, awfully like like similar hair with Rem and blue hair, and I was like, oh, what the hell is Rem doing here? Like yeah, like obviously Gluttony was controlling Rem, I think, but why? That's the question, and I'm guessing it's probably because Rem is also a victim of gluttony. That's why, probably. Anyways, all these questions, I'm sure they'll get answered eventually. I don't have to rake my brain and think about everything and try to figure out everything at this exact moment. Let's just keep watching, and eventually everything will come to light. Right, and there you go. That is it. That is my reaction to this episode number 12 of ReZero Season 4. Great start to the second cour. Looking forward to what comes next. So yeah, so thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.